say, kids? What time is it?
All right. I think as part of Geek Time, and I know you had this problem with our old show, we need to talk more sports.
Yep.
So, as you can see below us, it says Sports Talk.
Sports talk.
Geek Time TV Sports Talk. So, Edson and I are going to finish the NFL season with two shows. We're going to do a Pick'em show starting with week 7, and then we're going to do a recap show after every week. And so this will be recap of week 6. So we got some categories here. We're not going to do the typical, let's
Just
go over the stats from each
cover
game.
every game.
Yeah. So, dog, we got the great equalizer game. So, great equalizer game. You want to explain that segment?
So, one of the things I love about the NFL, always loved about the NFL, is that you're a team that if you're a team on a hot streak or a team that thinks they've gotten over the hump, you were 500 last year and you're a playoff, you think you're a playoff team and you've gotten on a hot streak. The NFL is always great at equalizing the teams. Like you're going to play now even if you're playing a 5-0 team and an 0-5 team, doesn't mean that the 5-0 team is going to win automatically. So a lot of times the team that's much more, much poorer in every category wins, and it's great about the NFL. I guess that's what that statement comes from. Any given Sunday,
right.
Anything can happen. So a really bad team can be a really good team or a team on a hot streak, and I love it. That's why I don't just watch. I don't just follow my team. I watch all the teams, all the games as they're on. So, and I love it.
Right. As the coach of my favorite team likes to say, the league will humble you. It punches back.
Yep.
So what was your great equalizer game of week 6?
Well, I had a couple of them, but I think probably just this okay. So the Rams and the 49ers. The Rams had just got, I believe they were on a 4-game winning streak, and it looks like they're back to what they were a couple years ago, the hot pick of the NFC West, and the 49ers are just a complete mess. They got blown out by, of all teams, the Dolphins.
And Garoppolo was benched in that game.
Right. And to be fair, he was coming off an injury and he wasn't moving that, his ankle was still bothering him. But that wasn't just him. I mean, their defense got scorched by, a team that isn't well known for its offense right now. I mean, they don't have a lot of great names on that. So you got Fitzpatrick is the quarterback. I mean, they have a couple of good receivers, but other than that, they haven't really done much. And to go into, I believe it was actually in San Francisco. Was it in San Francisco? I'm trying to think. Well, regardless, to go up against the 49ers and just 38-10. Well, what was the score? I'm trying to think. It was
smoked them.
Yeah, they smoked them. And so you would expect the 49ers against the Rams, that easy pick. I almost everybody that I've heard or read, it was like, oh, Rams, no problem. That was like lock of the week for some people.
Actually, on the NBC Sunday night team, the whole staff picked the Rams except Tony Dungy. He picked 49ers. Yeah.
And that's what happened. 49ers showed that their resilience. I mean, they played, I think, for the first time since last year. They played their game. They showed exactly what they could do. Good defense, nice short passing, running game, and then once in a while you got that big play to Kittle, which is always realize that was like on a 4th down,
right?
Touchdown pass to Kittle. And I'm not sure what happened to I guess maybe the Rams might have come in with some overconfidence.
Yeah, the 49ers are pretty beat up. I think they're one of the most injured teams in the league. So, I have Cooper Kupp and Higbee, the tight end, on my fantasy team, and I put them in, and it almost cost me this week because they did nothing. That was shocking. And seemed like the Rams defense had trouble just getting pressure on Garoppolo.
Right. Which was surprising because in the pregame show, all they talked about was Darnold was not just their best player, but like one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And they were focused on him, who took a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one.
This is what happens.
Yeah. So next we have the Come Down to Earth game.
Yep. Okay.
This one's right in my wheelhouse.
Yes, it is, because that's the game.
That's the game.
You know, when you got
all week long, all we heard is how great the Cleveland Browns are. All week long, Baker Mayfield has arrived. All week long, Kevin Stefanski's a genius.
Yep.
And then Kareem Hunt opened his mouth, and he gave the Steelers bulletin board material when he said, "We're playing this game for Myles Garrett. He got jobbed last year."
Wow.
So the convicted wife beater, or he wasn't a wife beater, but he kicked around a woman in a hotel, so he's a woman beater, decides to make a murder of a guy who assaulted another player with his helmet. So both of these wrongdoers are somehow victims.
Yeah,
They got a bad deal.
Yeah.
So this game was for Myles Garrett,
and that's who's going to inspire them to win this game.
And Mike Tomlin, as usual, and the Steelers, as usual, didn't buy into any of it. But you know, that quote was in the locker room.
Oh yeah,
posted on the bulletin board, and they came out, and it was men versus boys.
Yep.
I could not. They completely. That score, 30, what was it, 38-7, wasn't even that close. It could have been 50 to nothing.
It didn't reflect even what.
Oh my God!
I mean, how they physically got beat. How the Browns physically got beat. Oh my God!
Physically, just the third pass, the first pass of the game, third play of the game, Baker Mayfield throws a pick six to Minka Fitzpatrick, and it was over.
That was it.
The game was over on the third play.
And you could tell.
Yeah, it was.
The Browns were like, "Oh, we're done."
And then you got OBJ doing OBJ antics on the sideline. He's taking his uniform off and he's pouting like a little baby. And they will always be the Cleveland Browns. I don't care who they put on that team. I don't care who coaches that team. They will always be second rate. So yeah, come down to earth. You can't play with the big boys. And Cleveland is 4-2 right now, but the two losses are to Pittsburgh and Baltimore by a combined score of 76-13.
Yeah, that's usually what happens with these type of teams like Cleveland when they think that they finally figured out the formula of being a contender, and they get on a hot streak where they had won at least the last 3 games, right? I believe.
Yeah, I mean
they're 4-1.
They won 4 games straight. They lost their opener to Baltimore, 38-6.
Right. But then you go and examine, after Pittsburgh just chose them their place, you go and examine, well, who exactly did they win against?
They actually beat some okay teams. They weren't, as you said, the great equalizer, right? Yeah. Anybody. You can only play on your schedule.
Yep.
But and I actually thought they were going to give Pittsburgh some trouble. I was kind of worried about this game for 5 minutes.
Yeah. They haven't figured out I know Baker Mayfield's supposed to be.
He's not good.
They really haven't. Whether he's good or not, I don't know if he's going to make it as a quarterback for a lot of years. But they really haven't done that well passing. Their formula has been they're meeting up with the running game, and that's how they've been winning. But nothing was working.
Nowhere. The Steelers shut that running game right down.
And their offensive line is supposed to be decent, and it looked like some high school.
Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Tyson Alualu were just collapsing the line. Just physically. They went for it 3 times on 4th down and went backwards all 3 times. So yeah, they're not ready for prime time.
And at one time, Stefanski. Well, not at one time. Mayfield got pulled, and they asked Stefanski after and it wasn't I mean, obviously he wasn't doing well, but it wasn't specifically a performance poll. It was, he actually quoted saying, and I actually started feeling bad for their backup quarterback, Case Keenum, when he said, I needed to get him out of there because before he got hurt. Well, what is the backup quarterback going to do? You're going to sacrifice him then?
Like, there was a play. Well, Mayfield came in with bad ribs.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
There was a play where Bud Dupree had him held, and Cam Hayward came in and just clocked it, just right in the ribs too.
So yeah, they're looking out for the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing with him, with Mayfield, is that when he gets in trouble, he just heaves it up for grabs.
Yep.
So he threw a couple of picks, and he looked lost. He had the happy feet the whole bit. So who are you buying or selling after week 6?
Let's see. So the Bills are an interesting team because they started out 4-0 and then they lost their last two games. So you wonder, is this their year where they break through? I mean, the Patriots are a little bit of a mystery team. They lost Tom Brady and lost a couple other pieces, and they lost against Denver this week
at home.
So I think the Bills will probably win that. I'm pretty sure they will win that division, and I think they will. I don't think they'll get all the way to the Super Bowl, but I believe they do have the ingredients to be a decent team. So yeah, I think that's a buy.
I'm waffling on my buy. I'm waffling AFC. I'm waffling between the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, that's another one.
And the Miami Dolphins.
I didn't want to go there. Since I'm enjoying them too much without any pressure.
Well, the Dolphins are going to start Tua.
Yep.
After the bye.
Yep.
So who knows what's going to happen there? I mean, he's a rook, so they could crash down to earth, and he's going to learn the reality of the NFL, or he's just going to blow up like Mahomes or something, right? But I think I'll go with the Raiders for this week. I think the Raiders, after taking out the Chiefs, proved that they do have something going on. When they beat the Saints, I said, okay, they're pretty good. Then they went and lost the next game, or maybe even 2. And then they came out and just handed the Chiefs their butts in Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
So I think Chucky's got a playoff team there. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but I do think they're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be a tough out. I think they're going to beat somebody up in that first round. So I will buy the LA, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, they're kind of a mystery to me. I mean, they could put in, they can beat the top team or one of the top teams in the league, and then go out and play, a mediocre team and kind of just like lay an egg. And
yeah, they do have the ability to suddenly not show up.
I don't know what happens.
Yeah, it's weird. But I'll buy them. I think they're going to win 10 games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, let's see, that division. I mean, other than Kansas City, I don't think anybody else in that division is going to do much.
No, Denver.
And you got the extra playoff spot this year too. So
that is true.
Oh.
The Chargers, I feel bad for the Chargers because that kid Herbert looks amazing. He looks so good, and they keep losing by like 3 points, 2 points. Their defense is not very good, and they're giving up 35 points a game, losing like 35-30, 35-32.
Yep.
It's a shame because I really, really like Justin Herbert.
I like watching that. I mean, it was kind of weird the way he came in. We wasn't even planned that he was going to play that first game.
Right.
But Tyrod Taylor got some mysterious illness. Well, not illness. He got injured in a bad way. Their own team doctors injured him. So I
mean, how do you?
I don't know. But it might have been like a kind of like a, good thing that happened to because he showed he was ready
out of there. He's done.
Yeah,
and that might have been Tyrod's last starting job at the NFL too.
Yeah, probably. Okay, I mean, yeah, starting job. You said, yeah. I would think so. Someone might want to pick him up as a backup. Yeah, you're right. But starter,
he's a serviceable guy. He'll win you 2 or 3 games when you need him to, but he's not. I never saw him as a 16-game starter.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was kind of down on him, but Herbert, I couldn't. What a gem they picked up! Yeah, every time I see him, that I think the only bad, not there's nothing wrong with bad about, but that team is like, he's a rookie, and any quarterback's going to make mistakes. So the way they play, they can't afford him even one mistake. Like he makes one mistake, and that's the loss. That's causes the loss. But that's not his fault. Every other every other play he does great, but they can't look like they're built not to make any mistakes, and that's not right.
So poised, and he's got a cannon for an arm. I really really like him, and I'm looking forward to watching him for a long time.
Yeah, they found their quarterback.
Great draft.
Sure.
Coaches on the hot seat. Well, let's pop this up.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Not surprising. Now, I was calling for Dan Quinn's head for 2 years, and the Falcons finally heard me.
So you're good with that, yeah.
How many games do they have to choke? I mean, come on. And Adam Gase, he's got photos of somebody, right? Because how is he still there? They get rid of Le'Veon Bell. They get rid of Jamal Adams. They got rid of what's his face, the receiver there.
Yeah.
In Carolina, Robbie
Anderson.
Yep. And then they just traded to Tampa Bay. They traded Steve McClendon, their nose tackle, and he got in the car and drove across Florida and played for Tampa Bay. They've gotten rid of everybody who's any good. And Jamison Crowder is apparently on the block.
Yep. I mean,
what's going on?
I've always looked for an excuse, and I always love rooting against the Jets, obviously, because Dolphin. But and this year, I'm way. I mean, I just feel sorry for them right now. It's like that situation is horrible. I mean, I don't even. At this point, you're doing Adam Gase a favor, because it looks like from the game this week, you look at him on the sidelines, he looks like completely like lost. He's not into it at all. It's like you're doing a favor by letting him go at this point.
They're not even competitive.
You're doing everybody a favor, because you know what what the pattern I've seen with the Jets probably all year long, not just constant penalties, but the personal fouls.
Right.
To me, that tells me that they don't care. And when you don't care, that's when you're causing injury. You're going to start causing these injuries. That's like player safety issue now at this point. And I feel bad for them.
I think it's pretty clear they're tanking for Trevor. Sam Darnold is done as a Jet. And then they might have already done some serious damage to him career-wise, like they did to Mark Sanchez. And, Mark Sanchez, the first 2 years goes to a championship game and then can't hit the broadside of a barn. And this looks like Sam Darnold is just, he's gotten worse each year he's been in the league. When his rookie year, he looked sensational. And now he looks timid. He looks unsure of himself. And he's banged up all the time because they won't invest in an offensive line. Yeah. All these top draft picks and all this salary cap they had, and they don't spend it on. You win the game in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and
Definitely.
they don't invest in either one of those lines. The Jets, they're just
offensive line, defensive line. That's where you win. Yep.
I pity Jets fans. I really do, because
I do too.
It's got to be hopeless. Paul is a Jets fan, 51 years now since the Super Bowl, and they're just. They're not even in the same league with anybody else. They're just so bad.
And now I can't even enjoy that. I usually enjoy when they're not doing well. I can't enjoy this. This is pitiful.
No, because they're non-competitive. It's just sad. It's a travesty. But oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say I know what you're saying about Darnold. I hope that we're wrong when thinking that. I really want him to have another chance. I mean, I
like Sam.
Whether it's this team or another team, I hope they haven't permanently damaged him, because I really kind of think he could have made it into a good quarterback. And I know he's in a bad situation, but
I'd like to see Sam end up in Washington or something. They need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So. But this, I think the coach that's going to go before Adam Gase is right here.
Maybe.
Mostly because of the high profile of Dallas. When you have a player, to be unnamed, of course, saying that the staff is totally unprepared, they don't teach, they don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly, they just aren't good at their jobs, another player said. This is the kind of stuff we heard out of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay about the same guy. So yeah, I mean, I watched the game last night against Arizona, and they looked like the Jets.
Yeah, they
They
do.
looked like the Jets.
At home, on prime time, having somebody come in there, and not even like Arizona is kind of one of those kind of up and down teams, mediocre teams. It wasn't even like a really good team.
Right.
And you get blown out. I don't even know. I mean, when they first hired him, I thought that was going to be a good thing, but now I'm wondering if I don't know anything about him at all.
I always thought he was a decent coach. I didn't think he was Tom Landry,
Right.
but I thought he would do a nice job in Dallas. And I mean, granted, their offensive line is really beat up.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, the poor guy was like just getting crushed back there. And a couple of times, I don't know how. There's one he had him in the end zone for a safety, and he got the ball to Elliott somehow. I don't know how he did it. But then you got Ezekiel fumbling on 2 consecutive possessions.
Yep.
There's just something's not right. You have all those amazing wide receivers on that team with CeeDee Lamb and Gallup and Cooper. I don't get it.
Well, you can't get the ball to him. You just talked about, when you talked about the Jets, about the line, about the lines, in the trenches. Like the offensive line is all injured, and they didn't put anything into their defense. So their whole defense is horrible.
Right.
I mean, not just the line, but the linebackers and Van Der Esch is a really good player, and Jalen Smith, probably like their best 2 players are their 2 linebackers.
Yes. Smith is great. So is
the secondary can't hold up for a few seconds. So I'm kind of wondering, did McCarthy just see the potential of a great? He just saw the potential of a great offense and just like, yeah, the defense will take care of itself, and then he hires Nolan. I mean, he hadn't been a defensive coordinator for a few years, I think, and before that, his defenses were like ranked in the bottom, like 27th, 28th, 30th. I mean, what was that?
Yeah. And McCarthy's just all about offense. He was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
They actually had the same problem in Green Bay. Their defense was weak. The only thing that bailed them out were those linebackers, much like in Dallas. He had
AJ Hawk
and AJ Hawk, and and then other than that, So
you're right.
While Adam Gase is the obvious choice for the next coach to be gone, you might see this guy go first. Then again, Jerry Jones is notorious for believing in his guy all the way through the years.
Yeah, he can be stubborn. He can be, and that stubbornness can just lead to worse and worse. So he may hold on to his
ego because he hired the guy, and
he doesn't want to admit that he made a mistake.
He made a mistake. Right. I think it's pretty obvious. They're this close to 0-6. I mean, that offense saved their bacon against the Falcons coming all the way back. And then the onside kick, of course, the Falcons stood around and watched.
Yeah, the Falcons screwed up the onside kick.
Right. They screwed up the onside kick. And then week 1, they barely got away. So,
right. The other win is against the Giants, who are kind of near the bottom.
Right.
Like you barely got by the Giants.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a quality win.
They're 1-5. Yeah. So trouble in Big D.
And just to just put a capper on this whole thing, they're actually in first place with a 2-4 record.
6 wins might win that.
That NFC East is unbelievable. I've never, in the in the 80s when the NFC East was like known as like one of the toughest divisions,
the best division. All 4 of those teams are,
by far as a collective team, they're like 2-15-1 when playing games outside their division. 2-15-1. Like all 4 of them put together. They're right, and that's not their whole record, but playing against it, not against themselves, with themselves. Outside of that division, they're like 2-15-1.
Ow! I did not know that.
That was
which leads right into the next.
Which leads into
the unusual stat. I think you just gave us one. Holy,
that's one.
Really? Wow,
that's bad. Usually when there's a couple of games that come up with like I don't know, a new record or something that happens in 50 years, and So that's our next one where it's and
The unusual stat.
quirky, yeah, maybe a quirky, wonky stat.
I don't really have one. The only one I'll throw out there is, well, I got two actually. One is that Patrick Mahomes reached, I forgot how many touchdown passes now in 3 less games than Dan Marino, some kind of record.
Wow,
I
that I
forgot
didn't,
what it was,
I
but
didn't know that.
was it 90? I think it was 90, something like that. But my unusual stat, my primary one that I thought of was the Steelers, my team. Surprisingly, as good as they are, a model franchise, 6 Lombardis, perennial playoff team for the most part, has never. They've started 5-0 twice in 83, 80. What year are we in? 87 years. And it was 1978, and now.
I find that quite surprising with all the Super Bowls that they have.
Yeah.
But that might just go back to playing in a tough division. I mean,
tough division, and during the Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin years, it's been no hidden secret that usually they start the year very slow. It's almost like they're just still in training camp. They're just not prepared. They look sluggish, and they're always generally 2-2 after the first 4 games before they catch their stride. But this year, there's something magic going on over there. But we lost Devin Bush for the year, so that's going to be.
I know that's a hit.
He is the quarterback of the defense. He's basically Ryan Shazier. He covers the whole field. He's so versatile. And that leaves a big hole in the middle of the field where the Steelers generally have been very vulnerable before him.
Right.
Since Shazier and before him. So we'll see.
Yeah, then they always have trouble with like the tight end, the opposing tight ends. Yeah.
Tight ends. And if that, because they play a 3-4, if that nose tackle gets trapped and the running back hits that second level, they usually tear it up. Yeah. And so far, they've been shutting it down. His backup, Robert Spillane, looked pretty good.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. So what's your unusual stat?
This isn't my unusual stat yet, but the one thing I wanted to cover with the Steelers is like, how do they always have the knack for great receivers, no matter how many receivers they go through?
Too many of them.
Chase Claypool now out of nowhere? What the heck?
Well, not out of nowhere when they drafted him.
Well,
I just don't know how he lasted that long.
Obviously, they're good at picking their talent, but specifically for receivers.
Yes, yeah. Right now there are too many on the team. They have like 5 really good receivers.
Really?
Yeah. Juju, you got Deontay Johnson and James Washington, and then they got this guy that the Bills cut, Ray McLeod, who's a baller. So plus a couple running backs who catch the ball. It's 2 great tight ends. So they're loaded. But this Chase Claypool is magic. They're calling him Mapletron.
Yeah. Well, because he's a lot like Megatron was. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's from Canada. I don't like that name. I
don't like it either.
Primus, because Les Claypool from Primus. So I call him Primus. I
like the comparison to Megatron, but
yeah.
but I don't like that name either. I mean,
they compare him to Megatron, but he plays like Larry Fitzgerald. He reminds me more of Larry Fitzgerald than he does Calvin Johnson.
Oh, okay.
But he's great.
Yeah. Looks like he's gonna have a big career there. Hopefully he won't go through the way of some other ones where they kind of got in trouble off the field. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
I don't think so. He's a Notre Dame grad, and Roethlisberger says he's one of the smartest receivers he's ever been around.
That's good.
And he said what's great about Chase is he'll make mistakes, but he won't make the same mistake twice. So,
that's a good thing to have. Yeah.
Quick learner.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. So it looks like he might have put Juju on the bus.
Really? Wow.
Well, Juju's contract's up at the end of the year. And they can't everybody.
Well, this would be the good time to make the run then. We can have them both there this year. Yeah. Before that happens.
Yep. So, no, the Steelers are loaded.
Yep.
So, as long as that middle of that defense can get him through the rest of the year, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I would say they're kind of like the favorites right now because you could see a lot of vulnerabilities in the Chiefs. losing to the Raiders, and they've had other issues before even losing to the Raiders. Almost lost to the Chargers too. So I would say the Steelers were kind of like the front runners, but the AFC is much
Yeah.
loaded.
The power rankings have the Steelers first in many of the power rankings this week. They have 3 road games in a row now against running teams. They have the Titans this Sunday in Tennessee. So Derrick Henry could be a huge
which
problem.
is a game
a huge problem.
I look forward to that game. Because I'm liking the Titans a lot too. So that's
Me
good.
Me too. And then and there's Adam Gase. Couldn't do anything with Tannehill.
I wasn't sure if that was going to come up.
Oh, of course it'll come up. I've been saying that too. Like, the Jets are the only team who could stand there, watch Adam Gase founder from across the sideline twice a year, and go, the minute that guy's let go of him, get him. Then the Steelers go to Baltimore.
That's always a great game.
Another big running team with Lamar and Ingram. And then the week after that, they go to Dallas, where they got to play Ezekiel Elliott. So Dallas is having their issues, though. But that's the third road game. By the third road game, they might be a little road weary. So I think the next 3 games will tell us who the Steelers really are and what they're capable of.
I think it's actually good that Dallas is the third one, because that's kind of like the more exhausting one. So they're probably the easiest opponent. So that's good.
Yeah, but you never know, right?
No. Like
Andy Dalton does know the Steelers very, very well.
Like we've already covered that. It could anything could.
Yeah,
that's the one.
A lot of times when you get those weird results, it's because it's a matchup thing.
Yep. Something that they find a weakness. Yep.
And like Dalton knows Pittsburgh. He's played against them 16, 20 times, right? So
and who knows? Maybe 3 weeks from now, the Dallas defense might get a little bit better too. So who knows?
Or they get some of their offensive linemen back, and so we'll see. So you still have to give us an unusual.
Yeah. So I have just 2, and the last one will lead into my other point. But so in the Denver New England game, which I loved the result of, the Denver beating New England, the Broncos did not punt until the 4th quarter, and yet they didn't score a touchdown either.
Yeah, they had 6 field goals, 18
6 drives,
18-12.
Huh?
18-12 on that one?
Yeah, 18-12, but it was all field goals. It was like they didn't turn the ball over, they didn't go on downs. They every first 6 drives, all field goals. I think they're gonna have to do a little bit better, score a little bit more touchdowns in order to be kind of competitive. But that's a good sign.
They're a very, very young team, Denver.
Yes, yeah. Their defense looks good though.
Yeah, and they have like 3 pretty good receivers.
Yep. Drew Lock needs a little bit more time, but maybe he'll be.
I think they need a better coach. Just saying.
Yeah, probably. We'll see how that happens. And finally, we're gonna what?
Vic Fangio.
Oh.
Whatever.
All right. and finally, we're going to land on my team's game, which I know it was a pathetic game. I get it. But both teams combined were 0 for 19 and third down conversions before the 20th attempt made it. And it was the Jets who actually got the first third down of the game, conversion of the game.
Wow.
0 for 19 combined. And the funny thing about it is it was like a very makeable 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. And then the very next play, the Dolphins sacked Flacco for a 28-yard loss.
28?
I can't make this up because this is
28. I didn't watch it.
You got to watch that one.
He just run straight backwards and kept running backwards the wrong way.
Yeah, like trying to,
And did he do a Jim Marshall and just start running the wrong way?
No, he tried. I couldn't believe it. It was like, are you kidding me? So that was like no third down conversion. So I mean, the Dolphins did wind up scoring, but that may be a good sign too that they didn't have to go to third down in all those times. And I did, and of course, Tua got his first action.
Yes.
And he actually made the first third down conversion for them when he went in for Fitzpatrick, and it was at towards the end of the game.
I saw Fitzpatrick like cheering for him, and
yeah, he's a great teammate too.
Yeah, he's a good
Fitzpatrick is.
guy, Fitzpatrick.
All right.
Did you see after the game, Tua went and sat on the 15-yard line all by himself?
I was hoping we would kind of like quarter towards the end with that. Yep. Someone reported that he was actually FaceTiming with his parents at one point.
He might have been.
But yes, I did see
Went out
him
there to
right
soak
after.
it all in. And,
Yep.
you know, in a year like this, and the fact that there's like, would they have 5,000 in the stadium, maybe 10?
Yeah.
There are allowed fans down there, but not a lot. And, it's just not like a normal year, but he still appreciated everything.
You could tell that he's really happy to be there, and it's not just about the money or the fame or anything like that.
Well,
He really wanted to.
he had a Bo Jackson type injury, could have been over for him with the hip, and for him to get all the way back there and get drafted and play in his first NFL game, he's probably going to be a really special player. And he seems like a good person.
I'm hoping he is, and I think he can be. I'm still in the back of my mind just scared that like if one hit the wrong way, is that gonna come back? Can you fully recover from that? I know he's moving very well, obviously, and I'm hoping that he can be durable because he's going to get hit. I mean, sooner or later he's going to get hit, and I hope it's not just going to be like a fragile thing, because I really was hoping to see him for like the next 10, 15 years.
Well, I hope so too, because between Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger, I had to wait 20 years, and you've had to wait 20 years between Dan Marino.
Has it really been that long? Jeez, yeah. I didn't even realize it till now.
You're 2000, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
yeah,
could have been Tannehill if they had a coach to do with the guy, but no. So,
I can't believe I fell for that. I was like thinking that it was Tannehill was the issue, because he did convert, I believe, from a receiver to a quarterback, and I was thinking, oh, he's not going to be a real quarterback. And it's like, there he is. He finds himself in the perfect position for him, and he's a great quarterback in that system. And now I realize I was like kind of blaming the wrong person.
Yeah. Adam Gase. Leave it to Adam Gase. So before we sign off, we have to pick the Thursday night game, because it will be over when we do our picks of the week. Okay. So we got the Philly Eagles and the New York Giants.
Okay.
This is tough, man.
Are they going to New York? To New York?
Let me check. Yeah, where is it? Where is it?
Oh, yeah, I gotta look it up.
I thought I would have it quickly. Giants at Eagles.
Oh, Giants at Eagles. Oh, okay. I mean, that game against, I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Stadium, so
yeah. I'm not sure what happened with that game with the Eagles, and I know we didn't talk about it, but at one point I'm like, oh, there's the blowout, and then it wound up being how did that like?
I saw the end, and when Philly went for 2, it was the ugly.
Yeah, no, I know, but how did even? I don't even think how they could get that. So you could obviously see a spark from that team. I mean, Wentz is doing a lot.
With what Travis Fulgham, this kid Travis Fulgham, the receiver. Yep. And it looked like, because I actually I picked him up off waivers on my fantasy team, put him on the bench, because I wasn't sure based on the opponent this week that I should start him. And I was right for a while. He had like nothing, and then ended up with 20 points. So I think he played a factor in the comeback. Clearly, the kid's a beast. So I'm starting him this week against the Giants.
No, I would. I definitely would. I mean, the Eagles are still, other than the 49ers, they're probably the most injured team there is.
They are. And
both offense and defense. But
I don't believe in Carson Wentz. I don't. I think he's good, but I also think he's a bit of a chucker.
Yep.
I think he's Andy Dalton to me. He's really good, but when the heat gets turned up, he's really mistake prone.
Yeah, mistake prone.
And reckless. And that's who I think he is. So I'm going to take the Eagles at home. They get the better offense. I think if they
yeah.
score early and often and put the Giants in a hole, the Giants aren't built to come back. The Giants aren't
Nope.
built to lead. The Giants aren't very good.
Right. They're not very good.
So I'll go Philly.
I agree with you because like I said, that I saw something from the Eagles last week and against a much superior team than the Giants. They're home, and the other thing that kind of happens in the NFL is a winless team can be very, very dangerous. But then once they get that first win, they kind of like, okay, we got that win. We're not. And guess who won last week by the skin of their teeth? The Giants.
Right.
So I think going into Philly, they're gonna get overmatched. And by the way, in that they played Washington, and one of their touchdowns was a defensive touchdown. So they're not doing a lot on offense, which is another reason why I believe that. I don't even think it's going to be close, but you never know with the division game and the Giant defense is getting a little bit better. You never know, but I think that the Eagles will win kind of comfortably.
The division games are always different.
Yep.
But I just think that the Giants are who they are, and the Eagles are underachieving.
Yep.
So I'll go with that for now. But I do like Jones, and if they had Saquon Barkley, completely different.
Wow, that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that was a big
loss. So we will see. Yep. So this was fun, and we'll be back in a couple days to do the rest of our picks for Week 7.
If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to be notified anytime someone from our show drops new content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?